What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. We got UFC Fight Night, Strickland versus Imavov. Predictions, real quick here. Breakdown, guys. Not going to spend too long on this card. We have 11 fights in this card. A lot of guys fell off. A lot of short notice here. Sean Strickland's a short notice. Couple of fights are short notice. Believe Johnson here. Charles Johnson's a short notice also. Yeah, so it's not so real quick, guys. I'm gonna spend too long. Before I get started, subscribe to this channel. Hit the thumbs up button. Also check out my Patreon account, and also you can donate to my PayPal account, which the link will be down below. All right, first fight here we got Jimmy Flick versus Charles Johnson. Flick been out for a while. Have a submission game there. We look for submissions. I believe he has 14 by submissions. This is a 50-50 fight for me, guys. Short notice for Johnson, but Flick's stand-up is, in my opinion, is not that great. But his ground game is pretty good. But I'm going to go with Charles Johnson here. I'm going to say Charles Johnson by KO TKO in the second round, guys, but I'm not confident. Next fight here, we got Daniel Argueta versus Nick Aguirre. A lot of guys are coming from the Contender Series also. And like I said, it's a lot of short notice. I believe Nick is a short notice. Yep. For this one here, though, guys, I'm going to go with Daniel by decision. And I believe Nick has a wrestling game there. I believe it's a BJJ. I want to say it's a BJJ black belt. Look to wrestle both guys. He said this guy's a BJJ black belt. Give me a second there, guys. Okay, no, it was Nick. Nick is a BJJ black belt. But there's two Nicks. Oh shoot, two of these guys are Nick. Well, Nick Aguirre is more of a wrestler, more grindy guy there. But he will look for submissions too. But I'm gonna go with Daniel Argueta. I'm gonna say Daniel by decision, guys. Next fight we got Allan Nascimento versus Carlos Hernandez. This is a tough one here because Carlos is a pretty good fighter. But he can get taken down, and Nascimento has that BJJ black belt, I believe, 13 by submission. He's pretty good on the ground, pretty good on scrambling. Stand-up is okay, but it's a ground game, man. If he gets you down there or even off his back, he's dangerous. I'm going to go with Allan Nascimento here by decision, but I'm not confident either, guys. A lot of these fights I'm not confident in it. Next fight we got Mateusz Mendoza versus Javid Basharat. I mean, what I see from Mendoza here, I mean, he's kind of, heavy with the punches, pack a lot of power, kind of light on the feet. Very athletic guy, aggressive, straightforward. We'll also take it down, look for submissions. It's a tough one here, man. In my opinion, this could be an even fight, to be honest with you, so be careful with it. Gotta take a look at the odds and see. But I'm gonna go with Javid Basharat here. Pretty good striker. His ground game is pretty good. His takedown is just decent too. I feel like he's just more experienced in Javid. So I'm gonna go with Javid by decision, but I'm not confident. Next fight here we got Mateusz Rębecki versus Nick Floor. This is a guy here. Nick is a BJJ black belt, but it's a short notice for Nick, and a lot of short notice, guys. It was supposed to be Umar Morales, so I'm liking Mateusz Rębecki here. I'm gonna say Rębecki by KO TKO in the first. Next fight we got Abdul Aslan versus Claudio Ribeiro. I believe Alhassan. Damn, a lot of short notice here, man. Abdul, is it the original fight for Abdul? Yeah, I think it's the original fight for him. His opponent here, Claudio, man, is heavy with the boxing. But look like he could gas out, and you can time up against the cage and sometimes take him down. His takedown defense is not bad, but you can get him down. But this one here, man, is... this one is probably a fight you could pass. I mean, this fight could go either way. I'm not confident in this fight at all. I'm going to go with Abdul for more experience here. But I believe Claudio coming from Contender Series. I'm going to go with Abdul. I'm going to say Abdul by KO TKO in the second round. But I'm not confident at all, guys. Next fight, we've got Umar Nurmagomedov versus Ronnie Barcelos. Umar here is pretty well rounded all around, man. This guy's a pretty good fighter. His wrestling is good. He's more of a kicker though. We throw more unorthodox kicks. Like he doesn't set up with the kicks. He just fired them shit out there, kind of like a Stephen Thompson. And he would go for double legs and he's grinding on the ground. But Ronnie Barsalas, man, is a freaking good fighter too, man. Can't count this guy out, man. This guy is very technical, very skilled fighter. BJJ black belt, good everywhere, man. So in my opinion, this is an even fight. Just an even fight in my opinion. Both guys are pretty good, man. With Umar here, he's carrying the Nurmagomedov last name, from Khabib. So I mean, it's kind of like, he's probably gonna favor him more, I guess. The Dagestani wrestling, over there in Russia. But Ronnie Barsalas is no joke, man. I'm gonna go to Umar though. I'm gonna say Umar by decision, but it's a close fight, guys. 50-50. Next fight we got Ketlen Vieira versus Raquel Pennington. I feel Raquel Pennington is just too experienced, man. She's skilled too, but she's too experienced. And Ketlen Vieira, she dropped the ball. She get put against the cage that's where Raquel likes to be. She pin against the cage, body shot, dirty boxing, even look for takedown. Ketlen Vieira believes a BJJ black belt, but she doesn't do enough. She doesn't throw enough punches. The volume's kind of low, and she can get pinned against the cage, and she can get broken mentally. Raquel is a dog. Raquel gonna come in here and then push a pace. So push a heavy pace and just, there's sometimes she walks into shots, but she just keep coming forward. She's durable. Ketlen Vieira will break under pressure. I'm gonna go with Raquel Pennington. I'm gonna say Raquel Pennington by a decision. I'm not confident, because you never know. Ketlen coming here and probably pull off a submission. It's possible. Next fighter, we got Puno Sonoro versus Roman Kopylov. So it's kind of back and forward. I was going with Puno for more of the wrestling, because Roman can get taken down, but man, with Puno he will gas out though. If he does too much, he gasses out. So if he's striking and try to wrestle striking, he get tired. And Roman is a pretty good striker, man. That guy is very technical. Puno gets flat-footed, but he throws heavy. But Roman is very technical in the foot. In and out motion. Lateral movements, his jab, his follow up with that left head kick. He's very technical guy, man. And Puno throw good boxing punches too, but he's flat footed. So, Roman gonna be in and out of him. And if Puno try to wrestle, Roman takedown defense looks good in his last fight here against Alessio. But I see with Puno, man, if he grinds consistently, if he's grinding, wrestling, then he's just doing that. If he's striking, he just does that. But when he starts to mix it up, that's when you have a problem. And if he just consistent grind wrestling, he'll probably gas himself out too. I'm going to go with Roman here. I'm going to say Roman by a decision, and I'm not confident either, man, because Puno's a heavy striker too. And if he able to can wrestle for all 3 rounds without getting tired, he probably could grind on a win here. All right, so that's probably it right there. Next fighter, we got Ige versus Damon Jackson. It's a tough one, man. Ige, man, he's a good fighter, but he takes a lot of damage in all his fights. Every single fight, he takes a lot of damage, man. He doesn't get finished, though. He's never been finished, but he takes a lot of damage. Even against his last fight against Evloev. He took a lot of damage, and Evloev is more... Evloev is a well-rounded fighter, but he was more wrestle, but he was taking shots from him, taking knees, flying knees. Josh Emmett, a lot of damage. The Korean zombie, Chen Song Jung, took a lot of damage in that. The Calvin Cater, he just takes a lot of damage in his fights, man. Damon Jackson is a grindy guy, though. He's grinding guy. He kind of wants his submission because that's what he's known for. But he will find a way to get you to the ground. And with Ige, you can get him to the ground, man. Not usually in the first round, but after the first round, he starts to tire out. You can get him down there. But Jackson, striking he will land strikes here and there, but I think Ige boxing is going to be better here. His hands are going to be better. But man, it's a tough fight to call here, guys, because Ige could be throwing punches and looking okay, then after a while he just start getting hit. You know what I mean? And Jackson's not really the best striker, but he's still well rounded, man. He's not 25. What is he? He's not 22-4 for nothing, and not like he hasn't fought anybody. His last win was against Pat Sabatini. Pat Sabatini's a good fighter, man. I'm gonna go with Damon Jackson here, guys, but it's not confident at all, man. Because if he get coming here and can stop the takedowns and use boxing and close the distance and get in the pocket, you could probably hurt Jackson here and finish him. Because Jackson, I believe, been knocked out like 4 times. Doesn't handle a shot too well. So if you can close the pocket and stay on him, which probably that's what he's gonna do, you could get a winner. But then if Damien start laying on him and put him to the ground and take him down single legs, then it's gonna be a grindy, beat up in the ground fight where you pepper him with shots and just zap his energy. So I'm going with Damon Jackson here. I'm going to say Damon Jackson by decision. I'm not confident. Main fight in the card here, we got Sean Strickland, who's making a quick turnaround against Nassourdine Imavov. Back and forward here, man. It's the next tough one here, guys. Sean Strickland, man. Striking is unorthodox, but he's right his chin high. Can get flat-footed. Will use a little footwork here and there, though, but he can get flat-footed. And in his last fights here, he wasn't really pushing much takedowns or wrestling. But he does have that, though. He does have a submission game, though. And he does have takedowns, but hasn't been using it, though. Hasn't been using it. So it's hard to tell what he's going to look like if he starts to wrestle again. 5-round fight, though. Nassourdine striking is very technical. He's a very technical striker. Good combinations. Looks like he will gas out, though. 3rd round against Buckley, he was starting to get tired in that fight. But he put out a lot in that fight, though. It's a 5-round fight, though. It's a tough one to call, too, guys. I mean, striking-wise, I feel Imavov is the better striker here. More technical, he strikes are more crisp, He's more, in my opinion, he's more technical. Chin down, his technique look more sharper. It's more precise. Sean Strickland got a jab on him, and he would look to counter, but man, it's a 5-round fight. This honestly, man, I could see Strickland winning just off of just experience and fight 5-round fights. And he could probably look for even a takedown and put him against the cage. He can do more of an MMA mix-up, which Imavov have takedowns too and will work the ground. But it's the gas tank. It's the gas tank. And the fight not 194. I think it's a kind of a catch weight thing. I think Strickland came in because Imavov is usually 185. So it's kind of moving up a little bit. I'm going to go with Imavov though, guys. I'm going to say Nassourdine Imavov by decision, man, but I'm not confident. I feel Imavov is he's a more technical fighter as far as a stand-up and just, the precision, timing, in and out. It just looks like a better fighter to me. But again, experience is Strickland, man. May not look as clean, but if you start getting the takedowns and start mixing it up and go veteran mode, go more experienced mode, you could see him winning. So be very careful with this one, guys. All right. Quick look at the odds here, guys. So we're working. We're just flying through these. Like I said, guys, not going to spend too long. Whoa, man. What the hell is this on these odds? These odds are freaking banana. What the... I disagree with these odds, man. These odds are way too high. Jimmy Flick is plus 285 over Charles Johnson. No. Yeah, Charles Johnson, in my opinion, is a better striker here, but Jimmy Flick is an experienced dude, man. And he will get a submission on you if you're not careful. I don't believe Johnson has ever been finished, but man, the odds are Johnson at negative 345. Be careful with that one, man. Yeah, be careful with that one, guys. The odds, that odd is ridiculous. I mean, Flick is... It's not a bad fighter, man. He's an experienced guy. I don't know about that one. Be careful with that one, man. And I'd probably say dog go past that, man, because I think Johnson is way too high. Dan Argueta against Nick Aguirre. Short notice for Nick. I mean, the odds are still too high because these guys are just not that experienced. I mean, Dan had his fight already in UFC, I believe, against Jackson. Negative 500, oh man. I don't know, guys. I feel Dan should win, but be very careful, man. Nascimento Hernandez. Nascimento is 320 against Hernandez. Flowing there. Yeah, careful with that one, man. Carlos Hernandez is not a bad fighter, man. Nascimento may have a slight better ground game though, but Carlos striking is not bad, and he does have a ground game, but he can get taken down, so that's probably the reason why Nascimento is so high. The odds are so high. Crap. I don't see Nascimento at 320 though, man, against Carlos. Carlos is not a bad fighter. Careful with this one too, guys. Rebecki against Flora. Rebecki 750 against Nick. What I see from Nick is he's gonna need a submission. Stand up is not really there, kind of suspect. So Rebecki should win this fight, and it's a short notice for Nick. And with Rebecki, his ground game is not bad. You know, his wrestling is not bad, and his striking is kind of wild, which usually land overhands. So I guess that's kind of right there, but still be careful. The odds are ridiculous. Javid and Mendoza. I disagree with this one, man. Javid at 300 and something. I mean, that the Mendoza guy, you know, is not bad. You know what I mean? He's not a bad fighter, man. I would say this is a more of a closer fight, guys. But I have Javid winning, but I think the odds are a little too high. Abdul and Claudio, I don't disagree. This is an even fight, like I said. Dog will pass that, man. Be careful with it. Ronnie Barcelos and Human when they got off. No, Megadov. Oh my goodness. They got 1,000? That's a disrespect to Ronnie. Ronnie's not a bad fighter, dude. Ronnie's a. I mean, I know he's Habib, I think cousin, or I believe it's cousin or brother or something, but Ronnie is not a bad fighter. He's a pretty technical guy, man. He's a skilled fighter. There's no way he should be plus 625. Man, I have Omar winning, but man, just be careful with this one too, guys. Caitlin Vera, Raquel Pennington is underdog slightly. I have Pennington winning, but it is what it is. Pony and Roman, got Roman as underdog. I have Roman winning. So, like I said, Pono could also pull the fight off just by grinding and wrestling, but being more well-rounded. Careful with this one too. Damon Jackson, Ige, I got Jackson here. Ige could win. It's a close fight. I see all these fights here with underdogs that I'm picking are very close. It's close fights. It's difficult to tell, man. Strickland and Imavov. Imavov got Strickland as underdog. That's interesting. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, but I guess it's short notice here. But I'll be careful though. Still, like I said, Strickland coming here and start mixing it up. 5-round fight. Imavov could be in problem. So be very careful with that one, man. That's it right there, guys. Mod breakdown predictions. Yeah, guys keep on kicking. One love out to everybody, and